It is the big headline across the nation today. A leaked Supreme Court document suggests the nation's highest court may be leaning towards reversing Roe v. Wade. The 1973 court decision legalized abortion nationwide. Now, the document leaked is a draft decision stemming from a case challenging a Mississippi abortion law. The state passed a ban on abortion after 15 weeks. The appeals process reached the Supreme Court back in December. Now, we want to be really clear here. The document is neither a final draft nor a final decision. It is the first draft of a court opinion written in February. The final decision is expected sometime this summer. A lot could change between when that document was written and when the court issues its ruling. Justice Alito wrote the leaked draft, which was obtained by Politico. He writes, "We hold that Roe must be overruled." He continues, saying its reasoning was exceptionally weak. President Biden worries what the consequences will be if the court indeed decides to overrule.
It goes far beyond the concern of whether or not there is the right to choose. It goes to other basic rights, the right to marry, the right to determine a whole range of things.
The president went on to call the decision radical. Right now, the Supreme Court has a 6-3 conservative majority. Politico cited someone familiar with the draft who says 5 conservatives voted to overturn Roe v. Wade, and it includes Justices Alito, Thomas, Gorsuch, Coney Barrett, and Kavanaugh. Now, the same person told Politico the 3 liberal justices all voted against the measure and want Roe to stay intact. Now, according to Politico, the person said that Chief Justice John Roberts' decision on the case was unclear. Again, a lot could have changed since Justice Alito wrote that draft. Justices can change their minds by the time a final vote is held. In fact, it has happened before. In 1992, it appeared the Supreme Court would reverse Roe v. Wade. Justice Anthony Kennedy changed his mind, and it remained in effect. Roe v. Wade has served as a guiding decision for abortion regulations for nearly 50 years. But let's look at it. Let's revisit the decision to make sure what it clearly allows and what it does not allow. Roe v. Wade says that a pregnant woman's right to choose is protected under the 14th Amendment. It says that people have a right to privacy. The decision did not say that right is absolute. States have a balance for a women's privacy with concerns over prenatal life. Now, that balance comes each trimester, so this is key. Abortions cannot be banned in the first 12 weeks. States can enact reasonable restrictions in the second trimester, and the state has the right to ban the third trimester abortions altogether. So let's take a look at this map. According to Guttmacher Institute, these are the states that could make abortion illegal as soon as the Supreme Court decision makes a decision. Many have trigger laws, which they are ready to pass if the justices choose to overturn. You can see that North Carolina is not one of those states. Lawmakers have filed several bills this session, either expanding or restricting abortion access in North Carolina. Most of those did not even make it to Governor Cooper's desk. One, banning abortion based on race, gender, or the presence of Down syndrome, did make it. Governor Cooper vetoed it last summer. Now, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle have shared their thoughts on a possible decision. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper responded almost immediately to the report. He released a statement reading, "Now more than ever, governors and state legislatures must stand up for women's health care." South Dakota is one state that would criminalize abortions. Their governor said, "If this report is true and Roe v. Wade is overturned, I will immediately call for a special session to save lives and guarantee that every unborn child has a right to life in South Dakota." Well, we see two very different scenes around the Supreme Court. On the left, a group of people in favor of overturning Roe v. Wade went to the Supreme Court to share their feelings. The video on the right showing a different group of people voicing their support for keeping Roe versus Wade. Well, CBS polled Americans, when the case first came before the court last November. It found a small majority of Americans favor keeping Roe v. Wade intact. About 40% want it overturned. Leaks from the Supreme Court rarely, if ever, happen. Last night's leak was really the first in modern history. Chief Justice Roberts called it a betrayal. He released a statement that read in part, "This was a singular and egregious breach of that trust that is an affront to the court and community of public servants who work here." He and other lawmakers have called for an investigation.
Whoever committed this lawless act knew exactly what it could bring about. The justices already require security.
A North Carolina political science professor called the leak a break from protocol and policy.
This is unheard of, to have a first draft of such a monumental decision to be leaked by the U.S. Supreme Court.
So the news from Washington comes 2 weeks before North Carolina voters head to the polls for primary day. We spoke with a UNCG political science professor. He doesn't see the leak changing things for the primary, but he says it could mean major changes for the general election in November.
If this turns out to be accurate, this is a huge gift for the Democrats, because it will, at least temporarily, who knows, 6 months from now, who knows what things will be like, but it'll take the attention off of inflation. It'll take the attention off immigration. Every poll I have seen shows that there's a low level of enthusiasm among Democrats this year compared to Republicans. And this is going to flip that on its head.
He says Republicans could benefit from campaigning around the leak itself. He says beyond politics, the public perception of the Supreme Court could take a major hit moving forward.
No matter how this turns out, the big loser is the court. If they end up overturning Roe v. Wade, then the people are going to say, it's all politics. They've overturned a 50-year-old precedent. If they end up reversing themselves, it's going to look like they gave to the political wind because this was leaked.
He says the decision may also become a key issue in every election moving if Roe v. Wade gets overturned. Well, we do want to reiterate what we said at the very beginning of this. The document leaked is a draft. It is not a final decision. It is not an official ruling. We expect a final decision from the Supreme Court by the summer when the court's term ends. We'll keep you updated as more developments come in.